ready for the interview.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello, Milhowse. Thank you all for doing this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
Happy to be here.
So there are 6 topics, 16 questions in total. Ready for the first question?
Yes, I studied, I think. Yeah. Well, I'm good. We're ready.
Okay. So how did you come up with the name Milhowse? Is there a special meaning behind it or something like that?
Simpsons?
Yeah, it's named after a character from The Simpsons, but we changed the spelling so we don't get sued. We went through a few things. We were demoted for. Remember that, boys? We were demoted for like a couple.
We've always been demoted. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, no, Milhowse isn't real. We're demoted. No, but Milhowse is a Simpsons character name, and yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's some band in Toronto named Milhowse with a U, so they got there first, so we just changed a letter.
Okay, next question. What first got each of you into music?
What did get me into music? Oh, it was Easter 2016, right? I was driving to my grandparents' house, and Good Riddance Time of Your Life by Green Day came on the radio. And I was like, this is a pretty cool song. I think I'll check out that band. And then I did check out that band, and from there, it was just like a nosedive into pop, punk, and emo music. And yeah, I just fell in love with it all.
Yeah, for me, it was just Guitar Hero. I had Guitar Hero growing up, and that was just, yeah. Just listened to all the songs on that over and over again. That's pretty much how I got into music, I guess.
For me, like my dad was like an aspiring musician, like before I was born and stuff like that. So, he was like a drummer, and so like he was in a bunch of bands and stuff like that, and trying to become like famous and go to like Humber for drums and stuff like that. But then he had children, so he kind of just then he went to school for like computer science or whatever, and does whatever he's doing now. But so I just kind of like was born into like playing guitar, drums, and piano and stuff like that, and music in general.
Wow, that's cool. Okay. What first made you guys want to start or join a band? Have any of you been in any other bands before Milhowse?
Initially, how it started was I started to learn how to play guitar in grade 9 because I've been getting into all this like guitar-driven pop punk and emo music. And I was like, I think I'd like to learn to play that. And so yeah, I just picked it up. And then one night, because Tobias and I met at church, and one night, our church youth group went to see a live show, and we talked to the guy afterwards. And for me, anyways, I kind of just realized like, hey, like this is just an average guy playing music. We could probably do that. And I've been writing some songs at that point and experimenting. So then Tobias and I just started jamming, and then we met. Jayden and I had a mutual friend, Alana, and we needed a drummer, or we had a different drummer before, but then he was just with us for a one-off gig, and that's actually the guy we met who played. And so then after he left, we were shopping around for drummers, and we'd heard Jayden was a really good drummer, and I'd met him before, and he was a cool guy, so I was like, I think he'd be a good fit for the band. And then so it all came together.
Yeah, I was kind of just bored, so wanted to join a band.
I'd been in a band before, but they all sucked, and I couldn't really find like other musicians to like start a band with, because like I really wanted to, because I'd been like studying music. But yeah, then they kind of just texted me on Instagram, so I was like, sure.
It's the greatest love story ever told.
Are there any specific points in your time in Milhowse that you would like to mention, whether they were impactful, a good memory, stuff like
that? Probably our first real show.
Yeah, that first show was good. All the times we've played at Coffee House have been a lot of fun. And recording is a very satisfying process. Like when
it isn't.
It
I was gonna
can be.
say,
It can be.
It's
Satisfying.
annoying as hell. What are you talking about?
It is annoying, but like once you hear it all come together, once I heard "Hide Your Daughters" like for the first time, I was like, that's kind of cool.
True.
The end of the process is fun, but the actual process, yeah, it's just annoying. But yeah, I'd say anytime we've heard one of our songs finalized in recording is a special moment.
Hmm. And the coffee house we played right before the pandemic started, that was like we played really well at that one. I think
Oh yeah, for sure.
that was a good one.
Yeah, I remember you guys playing at a Christmas assembly or something like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was pretty fun too. That was cool.
Yeah.
And we played O Canada for grad, which was like just hour and a bit ago. Like we like recorded it, so that was a lot of fun too.
Nice. Okay, so on to topic 2, influences. So I looked on your Instagram account and read that some of your influences include My Chemical Romance, Blink 182, Fall Out Boy, Billy Talent, and a bunch of other guys. So what do you like about them? Just say their name. And then...
For me, the first time I ever listened to Enema of the State by Blink 182, which is their best album, I was like absolutely blown away and speechless just because of how like good it sounded and how well written it was and how it seemed to capture kind of a feeling. And so I distinctly remember after listening to that album in March 2018 for the first time, I was like, that's how I want my band to sound. And yeah, they're just Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge are geniuses. And My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy. My Chemical Romance was less of an influence later on. That's more like really early on. But I remember them and Fall Out Boy had a big influence on some of my lyrical content. My Chemical Romance, I remember, just wrote really dark songs, and I kind of liked that because I was an edgy middle schooler. And Fall Out Boy's lyrics, Pete Wentz is a lyrical genius. Their lyrics all have like are really snappy, and there's always like a good one-liner at least in every one of their songs. So that inspired me to kind of take my writing to the next level.
Yeah, and as for me, I have like the huge list. For Billy Talent, it's mainly just the guitarist. I really like him, and he has like he doesn't do anything particularly inventive. He just writes really good guitar riffs. As for some of the others,
he does a thing where he plays like both parts at the same time, though, right? Like where he does.
yeah, in a few different songs. Yeah, and there's the real standout here, the Red Factor. They're like they were a local band in Kitchener, and I think my singing voice just kind of naturally took on the vocalist of that band. Like I just unconsciously imitated his. Yeah. As for the others, I don't know. I just like all those bands, like 68, Demon Hunter, Mutoid Man. Those are all pretty cool.
For me, I mean, some of the influences I stated was like that was like the end of grade 8. So I mean, they've definitely kind of changed, but like I guess it kind of depends what instrument I'm playing. But I guess for drums, I take a lot of inspiration from like Blink 182's drummer Travis Barker. Like just his I really like he just has amazing speed and dexterity and independence over a lot of his limbs, which like as a drummer is something like that's like the ultimate goal as a drummer, is to be able to do something completely different with like every single one of your limbs.
Oh, just as a side note, I've had my fan on this whole time. You guys can't hear it, can you? Because I realized I was unmuted for.
I can't hear it.
Okay.
Okay, this question's kind of like the one I just asked. Are there any other favorite musicians or bands that you'd like to mention? Or just more recent ones that you found you liked?
Around grade 11, I started listening to a band. Tobias kind of got me into them. Tobias and another friend of mine. They're called Brand New, and they really like. His lyrics are so
Yeah.
good, and I really like the sound of that. Inspired me. Actually, our song "Brand New Day" that song in particular has a lot of influence because like the name is kind of a reference to the band name and also one of their lyrics from a song called The Boy Who Blocked His Own Shot. And Brand New, they have a song called Okay, I Believe You, But My Tommy Gun Don't. And the first half of that song is really similar to Brand New Day in the sense that both start off with just like the singer and a muted guitar. And I thought that was kind of a cool dynamic, and it builds up. And I started listening to Sum 41 later on as well, especially their first album, All Killer No Filler. That had a big influence on me, just the lyrics, just the sound as well. It was really fast and upbeat, written in the key of D. A Drug Called You, which is one of our songs, is very heavily inspired by Sum 41.
Yeah, for me, I would throw the bassist of Green Day, Mike Dirnt. I feel like I took a lot from him in terms of how I play bass. Same with the bassist of Tool. I think his name is Justin Chancellor. If I like his bass playing, so I kind of took on that. And really, I could throw any 2000s rock band on here for influences. So I'll just say Sum 41, Linkin Park, and Rise Against. If I could
No
add
Mark
a few
Hoppus?
more.
No Mark, biased.
I guess Mark Hoppus as well
There.
from Blink.
For me, I got into Jimi Hendrix like a lot later into like grade 9 and 10. And I like Mitch Mitchell's like drumming. I take a lot of influence from his, even though it's kind of like a completely different genre of music than what we play. It's kind of just like just the way he grooves things, and again his independence over like basically all of his limbs, and just the style of his playing, you know, learning to play Hendrix songs on drums and stuff like that, and then using like little things that Mitch Mitchell would incorporate into his playing into my own. And same with like you know, obviously I'll never be as good as Danny Carey, the drummer from Tool, but like I take a lot of influence from him, just in the way of like just the weird stuff he does. He does a lot of like changing time signatures and playing like just awkward beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, like playing different time signatures with each of his limbs.
Yeah, polyrhythms. I can only play one polyrhythm, but yeah.
That'd be insane. I can't even imagine like your foot playing in 4/4 and your hand playing in 3/4, and there are different tempos and stuff. That's like,
Yeah, the one I do, it's the Tool song Sober, and it's like your hands going in 3/4 and then your rest of your body's in 4/4.
oh wow. That's like, I can't imagine what it takes to just like sit down and come up with that. That's like, wow.
Neat. So, topic 3, songwriting and producing and mixing. So, question A, do you have a certain way or order of steps to writing a song? Or is it different every time?
I meet a girl, then I get sad, and then I write a song. And then...
Alright.
That's most of our songs, I think.
Isn't it like 90%?
Maybe not 9. I mean, there's some angry, there's some anger in there. Well, I've been trying to actually branch out and write about other stuff, but no, for a lot of our,
I think we joked about making an entire album based off one girl that Ian like was really into or something.
no, it's fun. It's typically like, yeah,
It would be like our Downward Spiral, like the Nine Inch Nails album. That's like the whole album's about one chick, and then we just do that.
Yeah.
No, it's typically how it goes. There's really no like set process. Sometimes I come up with a good lyric in my head. Sometimes I come up with like a cool guitar part. Sometimes it just comes together. Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe. Sometimes I'll just like listen to a song and be inspired right away and sit down and write something.
Yeah, and in terms of putting it all together in a Milhowse song, usually it just starts with Ian writing a guitar part and lyrics, and then Jayden and I just kind of figure out our parts, like at a band practice or something.
Although Jayden wrote like most of Dipwad, like the music anyways.
Oh, yeah,
I only
that's true.
wrote the guitar and bass, or not bass, sorry, the guitar and drums.
Cool. So, what are some roadblocks to making a song? What do you do when you get stuck writing a song or can't come up with any lyrics?
Smoke weed? No, no, that's a joke.
Is it a joke?
Yeah, I'm only 17. I can't smoke weed, guys.
That's true. Very true.
What do I do? I just kind of leave it, come back to it at a later date. Yeah, I find leaving it can help sometimes. A lot of times, actually, no, a lot of times if I have like a burst of inspiration, I'll write like multiple. I'll write like 3 or 4 verses, then a chorus, and then I'll just like leave it and come back because I'll just go until the inspiration runs out. And I find coming back with a fresh set of eyes can help sometimes. Sometimes I cuddle with my rabbit. That's always fun. He has lots to talk about, lots of old war stories that he tells me that I write songs about.
Yeah, I have pretty much the same answer, minus the rabbit.
I usually just go off and do something else, like play video games, and then come back to it later. Just let my like subconscious figure it out. Because there's a thing like with our brains or something that like if you're struggling with something, just like go to bed or something, and then you'll wake up with the answer because like your subconscious continues working on it, even though you're not really focused on it.
Wow, that's neat. Oh, do you guys have any examples of times you've gotten stuck when writing a song? Do you remember, I don't know, a certain part of a song where you had trouble coming up with a melody or lyrics?
So initially, so our new song "Hide Your Daughters." So that was we have a song out called "Dipwad," right? But I originally had like a completely other song I'd written. I'm not sure if this relates to it, but this kind of makes me think of it. I had a complete different song called "Dipwad" that I wrote, and it sounded very similar to "Hide Your Daughters" in terms of like the chord progression and the melody and stuff. So that was a bit of I had to choose between like 2 songs I really liked, and so I ended up scrapping like original Dipwad. And we have a song called "I'm Not a Hero," and I remember for that one going to Tobias for some help for the bridge because I couldn't figure out how to write a good bridge for it.
Yeah,
But,
turns
yeah,
out neither could I.
No, actually, a good thing that I do sometimes I'll like if I'm writing a song I can't figure something out, I'll shop it around to Jayden and Tobias, see if they can try their hand at like writing a bridge or a solo or something.
Okay, how do you produce songs? What equipment do you use? Where do you produce? How much time does it take?
Well, in terms of how much time it takes, it can take a while. Like post-production recording, it can be like 10 hours total for a song, or it can be more depending on how complicated it is, how many moving parts there are in the song. In terms of equipment, just kind of our instruments, what do you call it?
Computer.
Yeah, a computer. Just like a mixer that we plug our instruments into. It's pretty bare bones, our setup, but we make it work. What else? And where do we produce? I do most of the production, I think, nowadays at least. So right here where I'm sitting, I do most of the production. And I think everything except the drums are recorded here these days. And Jayden just records his drums at his house.
Cool. What do you guys like better, songwriting or producing?
Songwriting 100%. I haven't produced, but like in terms of songwriting versus recording, songwriting is 100% like better. I mean, recording, like Tobias said, the minute you hear the song for the first time, it's like a really special moment. But in terms of the process, songwriting is a lot better, I think, because it's more interesting. It's not as tedious. You get to just sit down, go off on a notepad and a guitar.
Yeah, for me, I do both. And honestly, I can't really pick one over the other. There are good and bad sides to both. Because, like, for songwriting, I might come up with a really cool part, but then I can't make a song around it. That's kind of frustrating. And as for producing, the actual recording process can be annoying. It's hard to get a good take sometimes. And, what else?
Do you find this is just like kind of a sidebar question? Do you find like when you have like a cool part you write, sometimes you can come back late, like you save it for later. Then when you're writing a song, you can kind of implement it into. So I've had that a couple times.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I'll come up with like a one part, I can't figure out a song around it. Then later on I'll come up with a completely unrelated part that just happens to fit in. So that can be kind of cool. But yeah, in terms of which I like more, I can't really pick one over the other. They're both have their ups and downs.
Okay, so what is mixing?
I'm not really an expert, but from what I can understand, mixing just involves making all the different parts of a song sound good together. Like making sure everything can be heard volume-wise, and if one particular, like for example, the vocal part has too much, like if the low end of the vocal part is too loud, I might reduce that frequency in that particular recording to make it less overpowering in the context of the whole song. But yeah, just mixing is just making everything sound good together. And then the other half of post production is mastering, which is making the whole song as a whole sound good in various different formats. Like it might sound good in earphones, then sound awful in the car. So I have to make sure it sounds good in both ways, and various other places, I guess. But yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Cool. Yeah, I always wondered what that was. Okay. I read on
Thank you.
Instagram that a guy named Griffin or Slack Pixel mixed your EP. Do you always work with him, or do you guys sometimes mix your music, or does he always? And are you thinking of asking him to mix the next thing you make?
He mixed our EP for he mixed our EP, and then Ben Forward, who was actually like the guy we saw play who inspired our band, who drummed with us for a bit. He mixed Dipwad, and he mixed. Oh, we have a song about the. We should drop the Force Types just as a sidebar. But he mixed another song we wrote for a school project, and
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
I know, right? That was a while ago. I don't even know where that is anymore. But yeah, we had Ben Forward mix a couple of our stuff, and then Tobias kind of. Did you teach yourself how to?
Well, YouTube taught me. That's these days. That's what self-taught means, really.
Mm-hmm. No, but yeah, Griffin. I met him at there's a summer camp I went to for a number of years as a kid, and he was a counselor there, and he was still kind of a counselor. He was a higher up position, but he was still kind of a counselor there when I went to council one year, and he was really into punk music, and we got talking about that. He said he had mixed some stuff, and so I figured I'd hit him up to produce our stuff. But he's a good guy. His camp nickname was Slack because one time he was going like zip lining, and he gave himself too much slack on the rope and fell out or something like that.
I did not know that. I just thought it sounded cool.
But no, Tobias mixes and masters all our stuff today.
And I get better at it every day, hopefully.
Nice. So, topic 4, Hide Your Daughters, your latest song. How did you come up with the song idea? Could you give a brief explanation of the start to finish process of making and releasing the song?
Yeah, Ian, how did we come up with Hide Your Daughters?
The year was 2018. And
what? This song's that old?
Yeah.
We wrote this when I joined the band?
We wrote this before you joined the band. This was like...
Oh, I guess I didn't write the drums for it until like probably grade 10.
You know, this is like an old song. This is a really old song.
By really old, you mean 3 years old?
Yeah, by really old, you mean 3 years. It was about a girl I was interested in at the time, who I was nervous about talking to, and who I also couldn't get the thing out of my head that if I did end up like, dating, that it would eventually end at one point. And it was kind of about the fear of that, of like fear, like being scared to talk. And then also like, just fear of like a relationship ending and kind of wondering what the point is. And so sat down, wrote the song. I think it originally sounded a little different. Like the melody was the same, but the chords were different. But then I realized the chords we have now, like the music we have now, kind of works a little better. And so then we scrapped Dipwad. We scrapped the old version of Dipwad, and then came up. The title was because "Hide Your Daughters" is like something you'd say when a ladies' man walks by, right? But in the song, I'm very clearly not a ladies' man. So it's kind of a pun on that, or an ironic take on that. And then I showed it to Tobias. I think it was a little after Ben Forward left. And then I just had it for a bit, kind of played around with it. And then showed it to Jayden when Jayden joined the band. It was one of the first songs we learned after we'd finished all the EP songs. I think it might have been like the 5th song we learned together, something like that. We played it at Coffee House, and then we kind of just had it for a bit, and we tried to record it right before the pandemic hit, and didn't go well. So we thought we'd take a break. We're like, oh, we can do it next week, and we weren't able to do it next week. And yeah, then we got to recording it remotely, and we added some stuff. Like when you record and you hear it back, you can add a few kind of cool guitar parts. And yeah.
Took a while for it to come to fruition.
But I'm very happy with it. I think it's our like best sounding song so far right now. Anything you want to add, Jayden?
No.
Okay, how did you make the cover art for it? The candy hearts with the letters on them?
We had my friend Nathan do that. I created like a rough draft mock-up of it, but because graphic design's a passion of mine. No, it's not. But it's okay. But I asked my friend Nathan to make like a good copy off of a rough version I made. So my friend Nathan did that. And yeah, because he's like a really good graphic artist. But we've had other people. Most of our covers, most of like our art and stuff is usually like I'll draw it out or create like a rough draft and send it to someone a little more professional than me. Our friend Cassidy did like the actual Milhowse logo. And yeah. Oh, this is I do this because I was bored. This is like because we all look kind of different now. Tobias and I have beards. Jayden has darker hair and shorter hair. I drew that one day when I was bored. When I had 2 hands.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. Oh, on the note of art, you kind of mentioned this. How do you make your art for Milhowse? You have your album cover art for your EP, other song cover art, the cartoon heads.
Some of it is photos that I just take myself. The Milhowse show cover is just like wait, hold on one sec. We have here the Milhowse cups, and these are the cups that were on the EP. And I just took a photo. I arranged them on the floor and just took a photo of them over there. And the Dipwad cover was just a picture of the dumpster I took like outside the school one day, the day I got my concussion. And then Brand New Day was just a photo I took at a place I worked. And then some of our more like graphic covers our logos and stuff are done by other friends who are good at graphic design, like Cassidy and Nathan.
Okay, topic 5, quarantine. How has the quarantine affected the band in making music? Did you have to put things on hold for a bit because of the quarantine, or are you still managing to make music during this time?
We had, trying to think back because it's been a while, because this is the first time we're actually all in like the same place since it started.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
that's kind of true.
and I've seen like Tobias individually and Jayden individually, but I haven't seen like, yeah, it feels good. It feels good to be back, right, guys?
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to put things on hold. We were planning on recording like right before the pandemic hit. We were looking for live gigs like at places other than the school, and we kind of put that on hold. And did we take a break for a bit? Like not like a breakup, but did we like just take a break for a bit? Do you remember?
I think we kind of just had to, since we couldn't really do much.
Yeah, we took a break for a bit, and then we just like Tobias started making metronome tracks because we were also gonna try and record an album, and Tobias started making like metronome tracks for all the songs, and we just practiced along to the metronome tracks, and we were all kind of more locked down. And once things opened up, we just started recording remotely with Jayden recording his drum parts at his place, and Tobias and I recording stuff at his place. Like Tobias would record his bass and vocal parts, and I just come over and plug my guitar in and record my stuff over there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really cool that you are still making music over the quarantine. So has the quarantine sparked any song ideas? Would you make a song about or inspired by the quarantine?
Yeah, actually, Lazy, which was the acoustic B-side we released with Hide Your Daughters, I wrote that one like a week into quarantine. Yeah. I wrote that one like a week into quarantine when I thought that was bad enough, and I know it'd go on for like a couple of years after, but that one was just kind of more about just being lazy, lying around, having no motivation. And then recently, a little while ago, trying to think of it would have been like the second lockdown in winter, like in in December and January. I wrote a song called Shell, which was about just feeling burned out, and it was a more experimental one. There's no chorus, it's just two long verses, and it's mostly bass and drums, and there's a guitar solo in the middle. But that one I really like.
Yeah, I haven't really written much in regards to songs about the quarantine because honestly, I mean, the whole thing with the quarantine is that you have to stay inside, but I've always stayed inside, really. So it hasn't affected me much in that regard. So, yeah, songwriting hasn't really changed much for me. So I probably won't write much about the quarantine.
My songwriting became a little more introspective. Like I stopped writing about girls, and I started just writing about like exploring other topics like themes of alienation and identity, and like yeah. But those two are big. I wrote a lot of songs about feeling alienated, just because online you get pissed off at everyone like a lot easier, and I'd get in a lot of fights and stuff with friends, and it was just like wasn't great. And I wrote a lot of songs about identity and kind of I don't know. I just wanted to branch out and explore a bit more songs about mental health, songs about identity, that sort of stuff.
Okay. Topic 6. What you're working on now, unless it's a surprise. I only have one question for topic 6, and it's the last question. So, what are you working on right now?
The other day, actually yesterday, I was at Tobias's recording, and we wrote a song called Down Bad that I think is really, really good. It's going to be like our masterpiece. It's going to revolutionize the music world. It's
definitely our magnum opus. We'll just have to bring it over to Jayden at some point so he can truly finish the song and complete it.
No, I'm excited for the world to hear it. We're gonna be like the next Beatles. It's gonna elevate us into the stratosphere. Song it's called Down Bad. I'm excited for it, and that's gonna be part of. Should I? Do you want me? I guess
we have an album or a name for the album.
Oh yeah, we're working on an EP right now. Because we were gonna originally make an album, but then I went through and played through a bunch of the songs, and some of them like weren't really that great, so we ended up cutting them. And the one we kept like about 6 of them, and so we're releasing an EP called tentatively called As We Fall Apart, and Hide Your Daughters is on that. The electric version of Brand New Day is on that, and Down Bad's on that. Maybe Down Bad might be its own thing. We might release it on its own.
It
But
might be too good for the
it might
EP.
be too good for the EP. It might be. We don't want to. We might just wait till this year's over because we don't want to dwarf all the other musicians who have who released stuff. I think. Yeah, I don't think we should claim this year as our own because I don't think we should release Down Bad right now because it dwarf all the other struggling artists right now.
Yeah, lyrically, it's very relevant and
Oh,
very
yeah.
smart.
Oh yeah, no, it's no, but we are working on an EP right now. Knock on wood. We finished recording it yesterday. I was at Tobias's recording, and I'm excited for everyone to hear. There's some good stuff in it. Should we drop the track list or no? Should we?
I think we can wait.
Okay, yeah, we can wait. But there's Behind Your Daughters is on it. The electric version of Brand New Day is on it. Down Bad might be on it. We'll see. That's still a topic of debate.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so that was the last question. Is there anything else you guys would like to mention or talk about?
Is there anything else you guys want to? I think it's just nice to be back, just to talk to Jayden and Tobias in one room again.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, one chat room.
Oh, for my songwriting, so I think maybe not anymore, but Brand New Day is I think I don't want to say it's the best thing I've ever written, but it's the measuring stick that I use for all my other songs. And I think that's probably actually, what song are you guys most proud of? That's something I'm curious, because for me it'd probably be Brand New Day or Hide Your Daughters.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Brand New Day. Although I do still really like the bass line I just randomly came up with for It's Gonna Be Alright. That was really fun to play.
I forgot about that song.
Yeah, you forgot about our first single?
I forgot because that's so different than a lot of our other stuff. Because that we're more pop punk, and that EP was kind of different. It's Brand New or not Brand New Day. It's Gonna Be Alright was kind of funky.
Yeah, it was alright.
Jayden, what are you most proud of? Just out of curiosity.
I think. Wait, can I mention songs that we haven't released but we've written?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd probably say the one song we haven't released it yet, obviously, but what's its name? A Drug Called You. I'm kind of proud of my drum part in that. Same with Brand New Day. I have some kind of complex parts for that. Dipwad is also one I'm kind of proud of, just because it's a really catchy song, and it seems like a lot of people really like it. And I was kind of proud since I wrote the guitar and I guess the overall melody for that.
Mm-hmm. The Dipwad is good. That music video is a lot of fun to make.
That music video makes me cringe at the start. I don't know. Actually, I'm glad we got Nick Fioravanti though, because if we didn't get Nick Fioravanti, I instead of looking back on that video and cringing, I would just looking back on that video and be like, damn.
No, I remember actually I was in Waldeck's class when I showed that video in Mr. Waldeck's class. It was my final summative, and Nick was actually in the room for that. And Hannah, the girl in the video, was actually at the very first Milhowse concert. She was at the one Tobias, Ben Forward, and I played at the YFC Center. But that video aged so badly, but because of that, it aged really well. It's just
Yeah, it's kind of like how blue cheese is moldy, but it still has its charm.
Exactly. It's charming in its own way. You can see people filming us in the music room as well for the project. The only clean shot in that the video, because it's all shot on iPhones, right? So the only actual clean shot in the video is the very first shot of me playing guitar, because it was shot on a gimbal or something like that. I think Alana shot it on her gimbal, but. I remember having to find a couple for that video was a lot of fun. I had to You know, I didn't ask that many people. I asked one other couple if they would be willing to make out on camera, and they said no, understandably. And then, yeah, then afterwards, I just asked Nick because I knew he'd be fine with it. So
It's kind of great we got Nick. Now it just adds a whole another level of comedy to our
no,
video.
It's a good video. It's
It's a great video.
I think I got like a 95 on that, or something. I got like a good mark on that.
You got marked on a Milhowse music video?
No, it was for a project. That was like my final summative in grade 11 media.
What? Our final, your final summative was the Milhowse video?
Yep. I had to show that, like, you know, the part like right before like the ending with Tobias ranting, how like it zooms in on them like making out. I had to show that in front of the class.
Yeah, that's cringe. And you can hear like the it's like just make one of those the video.
Wait, do that again. Do like the
Why? No.
we're gonna put it in one of our songs, Jayden. Just trust.
Well, when the time comes to record the song, Ian, then I'll do it.
Actually, that brings me back to Down Bad. I can't stress how good that song is gonna be. It's gonna be
so good.
Oh, it's gonna we're gonna be bigger than the Beatles. It's gonna
Stretching our creative limits.
No, it was hard. Like I put my blood, sweat. I broke down crying numerous times writing that song just because of how intense and personal it was. It was. No, it's like. No, that's gonna be a. That's not even a song. It's hard to call that a song. It's a legend. It's a magnum opus.
Yeah, it is hard to call that a song. I think.
It's like a religious experience almost listening to that song.
Yeah, really makes you think.
Is it about Christianity?
No, it's not. It's about. Well, yeah, because it's about everything. Like you'd be hard pressed to find what that song isn't about.
Yeah, art is up to interpretation.
Ian, do you think if God saw the Milhowse video, would he send you to hell?
It's thoughts like that keep me warm.
That's my question. I'm the interviewer now.
Well, you know how Brand New wrote like Jesus Christ, which is about him wondering if he's good enough to go to heaven or not. That's like after the Dipwad video came out, I found myself listening to that song quite a bit. And
wait, but wasn't that guy like a pedo or a murderer or something?
Kind of.
Why is he wondering if he's gonna go to heaven or hell? Like, isn't it already like at that point? Like, doesn't he already know?
Yeah, I think he already knew.
No, after that video came out, it made me question my faith a lot. Made me wonder if I'm going to heaven or not. But that video, Down Bad redeemed me. Down Bad put me right. Down Bad, that's like when that song comes out, like I'm getting into heaven. Like that solidified my place right there. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to when you guys release Down Bad.
Thank you. It's gonna be phenomenal. But yeah, it's gonna be phenomenal. It might be. I think it'll. I'm not saying it'll go over your head, but I think a lot of people, like just the average Milhowse listener, because there's like the average Milhowse listener, and then there's the Milhowse enjoyer, and just the average Milhowse listener. And you're a Milhowse enjoyer. You'll understand it. You'll understand it. But I think for a lot of our fans, like Down Bad is gonna go like right over their heads, but that kind of because then it'll make them think it might. You know how like in H.P. Lovecraft books, people would see something beyond their comprehension and go insane. That's what Down Bad is gonna be like for a lot of people, I think. But Brand New Day Electric though is gonna be I'm excited for that. It's Down Bad. It's like it's so I'm almost nervous. Like I'm excited for Down Bad to come out, but I'm also like.
Yeah, will people get it?
Yeah, I'm excited and nervous. I think when Down Bad comes out, a lot of people are gonna question our sanity as a band and question like some of the stuff we've been going through.
Yeah.
Question Tobias's raging alcoholism and marriage troubles.
Yeah.
Because that finds its way into the song. Like there's a subtle undercurrent of that combined with Jayden's like I don't know what happened that inspired the song with you, Jayden?
Sorry, which song? I just
Down
got
Bad.
water.
Down Bad. What
The song you haven't heard.
What was your influence for that song?
I haven't written it yet.
Oh, true. Yeah, you gotta listen to it. It'll change your life, Jayden.
I'll send
Okay.
it to you.
I bet.
But no, it's and then for me, I've been leading a secret double life. I was like, I don't know. I go out and I help homeless people in my spare time. I put on a mask and I hand out like money and food and stuff. And that definitely had an impact on me, contributed to the song. That was like, no, it's gonna be good. But Brand New Day Electric though, Brand New Day Electric is gonna be the fan favorite, I think, because that's a good song.
Okay, well, that was a really cool interview. The answers were great. Thank you for doing this interview. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for interviewing us. This was a lot of fun.